up, everyone? Welcome to the Safer Dave Show at SaferArizona.com, Arizona's cannabis legalization activist webcasting network. I'm your host, Dave Wisniewski. Today we got some crazy stories going on here in Arizona. There's been a lot going on in the Arizona cannabis legalization movement with the Arizonans for Mindful Regulation Initiative and the Marijuana Policy Project Initiative. But meanwhile, while we're all collecting signatures, we are in a war, and the war is real. People are getting their doors kicked in with riot gear. They're having SWAT come in. They're getting their kids and their family being held at gunpoint, dogs getting beat up. This is real. And what else going on that hasn't really been talked about a whole lot is, what's going on with the Department of Child Safety. We look at the Department of Child Safety as an organization that is supposed to be protecting our children in case, they're in, situations that they really need to be taken out of. Sometimes there's a lot of domestic violence. There's a lot of, really hardcore drugs and addiction going on, like heroin, meth users where, maybe a child should not, be in. But when it comes to medical marijuana patients, they're treating medical marijuana patients as if, being a card holder is the same as, being a heroin addict or a meth addict. They treat it as complete neglect. And so that's why I brought on my guest today. Her name is Savannah, and she's going through some very tough, problems right now with the Department of Child Safety just having a baby. I want to thank you for coming on the show, Savannah.
Thank you for having me.
And, I'd like you to, if you can, tell your story about what brings you here, why we should be, bringing to light and bringing to awareness what's going on with the Department of Child Safety.
Well, Department of Child Safety, unfortunately, they say they are for the better of the people, and even if, you don't believe you need help, there's some sort of help. They, basically, my story is they came in. I had been prescribed a medical marijuana card when I was pregnant, and they used that as an excuse, the hospital did, to tell me that because my daughter was born with medical marijuana in her system, that they had to call DCS, Department of Child Safety. A social worker came in. I was assaulted twice, and then my fiance was assaulted. He walked out, he came back in, and all of a sudden, I wasn't allowed to take my newborn daughter home from the hospital.
So when you say assaulted, you're saying that they came in, they put their hands on you?
He put his hands on me, yes he did. Brian Baum, which is the name of the man who opened up this case, put his hands on me, put his hand on my leg, and squeezed it incredibly hard, and said, I can make this very easy for you, or I can make this very hard for you. I did everything he asked, as in I answered questions. I, even tried to call my fiance. He then proceeded to take my hand and take the phone out of my hand, preventing me from calling my fiance, and said, we don't need him here. He came in the room after he spoke with my fiance, and
so they're manhandling you, and they take your phone away.
Definitely.
Don't call your boyfriend. That sounds pretty dark.
I was trying to, get my fiance there because I didn't know what to do. When my fiance arrived, Brian Baum then took his finger and poked it into his chest and said, I need to talk to you. And then just left and came in, and I wasn't allowed to take my daughter home from the NICU. She was immediately placed in foster care. I was removed from the hospital, and I had not. And each time, they take a child, they go pretty much MIA. I've spoke to other mothers, numerous mothers, that, you'll try to get in contact with these people and try to say, hey, what can I do to get my child back? And they won't even talk to you.
And so you tell me that this was all prompted because you were a medical marijuana patient?
Yes, the first question even Brian Baum said was when I walked in is he's asked me, where's your medical marijuana card? I need to make a copy of it.
And then they took your daughter. Well, what's really bugging me is I'm not even sure if these doctors understand that cannabinoids that are similar to the ones found in marijuana, THC. Cannabinoids are produced in mother's breast milk, and when your baby is all blitzed out on mother's breast milk, they're actually blitzed out on naturally produced cannabinoids that are found in mother's breast milk. So I think these guys are just very ignorant, working on some sort of Nazi Germany Hitlerian, policies to just snag up babies and ask questions later. So then what happened? They took your child. They sent you home, and so now what's going on?
I didn't hear from them for almost a month. But right after they took Gisette, 24 hours later, 2 people came to my home and said that they were there to inspect my house to see if it was safe for Gisette to come back, a.k.a. no marijuana laying everywhere. Everything was, and I keep everything in a safe. They came in. They didn't, that's how they got in. I said, okay, yeah, I want my baby back. Go ahead, inspect. Everything's clean and nice and where it should be. They came in and locked themselves in a room with my stepson for almost an hour. They came out and told me and my fiance that they were taking him too, and then placed him with his grandparents and charged him with my fiance with neglect because he left Noah with me and I took care of him because I had a medical marijuana card. So,
getting this straight, they come into your apartment, and your fiance, they're charging him with neglect because he was alone with the kid was alone with you, and you're a card holder. This is what's going on, people. This is why we need to get angry. This is why we need to push back, because being a medical marijuana patient is not neglect, and not even just using cannabis is neglect. The bottom line is, we've been lied to about cannabis for nearly 100 years. Not only is marijuana safer than alcohol, tobacco, and pharmaceuticals, but it has a plethora of health benefits. We can go as far as even saying cannabis is healthy like exercise, except safer, because no one's getting traumatic brain injury from smoking marijuana, but people are getting TBI from football and wrestling all day long. And we're sitting here having our kids kidnapped, being called neglectful parents because we use medical marijuana. Even just marijuana, if it wasn't for medicinal use, even if it was just for adult use, it's still not neglect. And so we're being victimized here by the system. This is something that we need to be pushing back, saying stop kidnapping our kids just because we use medical marijuana. So this is why we need to have a rally out in front of DCS. We need to invite our friends and family, and we're gonna plan that here October 10th, Saturday, 9 a.m. is when we're gonna be out there. Probably gonna be out there for a few hours, but I kind of want to go a little bit further, because you were telling me at a different point in time you'd gotten your daughter back for a short period of time.
Yes, the judge saw that even the judge didn't know that they could come into a home and or a hospital and take a child without a court order. He was baffled and upset, and so he gave her back, gave custody back to me. DCS did return her about 8 hours later. And they returned her sick. She was very sick. There was dog hair all over her, animal hair in her mouth. She was choking on it. It was in her eyes. It was all over her clothes. Come Monday, she ran a little bit of a fever, and I tried to call her pediatrician. DCS is lazy. Unfortunately, they didn't do any of the paperwork. They disobeyed the judge, and they had 4 days to switch the custody back into my care. They did not do so. They did not switch her to in-home care. They didn't do anything. So I couldn't take her to the pediatrician. She wasn't on my insurance, so I was forced to take her to the ER. I'm a first-time mother. I got a little scared because my child was running over 100 fever, and I didn't know what was wrong. I took her in, and
a fever that she had coming back from the foster care.
Yes, it was up and down, but it wasn't severe until Monday. And then I took her in. The hospital immediately gave her 2 spinal taps without my permission. They immediately put a catheter in her. They immediately drew blood, and all this is without my consent. Then they show me the sign to consent to treatment, and I refused to sign it because I did not want them sticking her with needles. I was upset. I was trying to get them to stop. They didn't even take her temperature. And immediately they already knew that there was a case open with DCS, and they said that if I didn't sign the consent to treatment, that they were going to hand my daughter over to DCS. So I signed the consent to treatment. Next thing I know, there's a social worker coming, that the social workers from DCS are stationed at the hospital. She comes in and she just says, "You're manic and I'm calling your case aide." And I say, "I'm not manic. I'm upset that they're hurting my daughter," and then threatening me with DCS. Next thing I know, DCS comes up and I'm feeding my daughter. I am pushed away from my daughter. And I'm escorted out of the hospital by a police officer. They won't even let me touch her. They won't let her hold my hand. I wasn't allowed to say goodbye. And I had done nothing wrong but worry about how much pain my daughter was in. Come court, they said that I was manic. And I said that, I put up the point, why would you trust the word of my enemies about me? Basically. And they lied and said that the statements from the hospital had nothing and no connection basically to do with DCS, and that is a lie because their social workers are stationed there.
What we're seeing here is a system completely built without compassion. You got your daughter coming back from DCS sick, going to the hospital trying to say, "Hey, check my daughter's temperature, see what's going on," and they start pumping her full of catheters, stabbing her with needles, and these aren't the things that the mother wanted to have happen, and they did it without consent. Of course you're going to be upset. They're using the term manic to give yourself justification to take the kid away again. This is how they're using their terminology to twist the situation of what's really going on. This is all going back down to, she's a medical marijuana patient and we're still having to deal with that, and it's been snowballing into these bigger ordeals into where it looks like, what does it even have to do with medical marijuana anymore? Well, that's the original source of why this was all triggered to begin with, is because she's a medical marijuana patient and the law was written very poorly. This is something that we can blame the poor language of the Arizona medical marijuana program, one of those weird areas where the law is ambiguous and we need to have those real protections. So and we need to let DCS know what they're doing is wrong. So October 10th we're going to have a rally out in front of DCS. The address is we're going to go over that here in a second. We're going to show you guys the Google Maps where it's easy and laid out, so where you can get there pretty easily and find everything with ease. But we're about to wrap this segment up. I kind of just want you to see what's going on now. Right now, Gisette is still in the custody of DCS.
Yes, she's in licensed foster care. They told the judge that I had mental health issues that were untreated. So the judge said that it was okay for her to stay in foster care. And even though they had never switched the custody back to my custody, they played it off and asked the judge to switch, do the paperwork to switch the custody. But the judge never even knew that they never did the paperwork. They don't keep in contact with me. My daughter right now is MIA, and I see her for 4 hours once a week. And she's 2 months old.
That's a tragedy, and we got to let them know that this is we cannot tolerate this. This is unacceptable. This kind of treatment of medical marijuana patients is disgusting, and we need to stand up together. We need to call our friends, invite all of our friends, do up a press release, invite the media, let them know that this kind of behavior is unacceptable, and we're going to get into when and where this event is going to take place right now. All right, so we are here at the computer screen about to check out where we're going to be. October 10th, 9 a.m. It is out in front of the Arizona Department of Child Safety. It is here at 5038 South Price Road, Tempe, Arizona, 85282. And if you want to go ahead and give them a call, let them know it is unacceptable to be kidnapping the children of medical marijuana patients just because they have this prejudice of this ignorance going on with marijuana. They don't understand it as medicine. They still believing all the crazy reefer madness. Let them know that's, times are changing and what they're doing is wrong. So here is an outside view of what it looks like. Could talk about this place for a little bit. There it is, the Department of Child Safety. Now, when we're out there, we can't be in their parking lot, and we can't be right up against their window. It'd be kind of funny, but no, we can be out here on the city parking lot, not the parking lot, the sidewalk.
Believe me, sorry to interrupt, Dave, but believe me, the front desk can see us from the window. They're facing the window, so DCS will see everything. Yeah, they'll see us out here, and so this is the sidewalk, city property. We'll be out here October 10th, 9 a.m., with signs saying, stop arresting people from making the safer choice, but stop kidnapping the children of medical marijuana patients. So you're saying this Department of Child Safety, they're coming to your stepson's school and harassing him, or what's going on there? Yes, interrogating him at 6 years old. He's barely in first grade, Dave. First, they said, the first time they came to his school, they said, you should come with us. My stepson refused and said, no, I want to stay with mommy and daddy. So they asked him questions there and, left him be. The second time they tried to pretty much, coerce him into coming with them, made it sound fun, whatever. And he said... They tried to make it sound fun to go with DCS.
Yes,
they did.
Come with DCS. I got some candy.
Right. Come to the dark side. They have cookies.
Oh
my gosh.
It's
they talked to him, and after him not saying anything to them, they said, "Do you want us to go away?" And my stepson Noah said, "Yes, I want you to go away." Last night I was tucking him into bed, and he asked me basically if it would help. Tonight, he wants to make a sign that says no DCS allowed and put it on our front door. And this 6-year-old little boy is hoping that this sign will help them stop harassing our family. He's asking when his baby sister's coming home. It's horrible, and he's afraid of them. They took him away for a month with no just cause, because I have a medical marijuana card and he was left alone with me.
So they took the 6-year-old away for a month because you have your medical marijuana card and you were alone with the child.
Yep, they charged my fiancé with neglect because he left me.
Now this is why we're outraged, because there's so many of us that use marijuana. Do you guys think that you're incompetent? Do you guys think that you're neglectful because you use marijuana and you have kids? No, but you know what? The state does, and the state is taking...
With all due respect, Dave, when I was in court, when the judge was baffled and said, "What makes you authorized to make this decision?" the lady could do nothing more but refer to what she has read on the internet about medical marijuana, what she has seen in propaganda. She said that medical marijuana makes you lazy, and they think that I'll be too lazy or too quote-unquote relaxed to take care of my child, to remember to feed her when she cries. And this is, again, I say what she said she read on the internet. And the propaganda is still going on.
That just sounds really dumb, to be honest. It's like, you're going to be so relaxed, you're going to forget to keep your kids alive.
I looked Veronica Romero dead in the face and I said, that is ridiculous.
Reefer Madness 2015, and it keeps going. We're going to see it's 2016. That's why we need to ensure that we do pass a law in Arizona that is going to protect parents, it's going to protect people from getting arrested. Please make a campaign contribution at azfmr.com, legalizemarijuanainarizona.org. We are working to get marijuana legalization on the 2016 election ballot. We need to have this kind of thing stop happening to people, and we need to be seen. We need to spread the awareness about what's going on here. So join us October 10th, 9 a.m. This is 5023 South Price Road, Tempe, Arizona, on the sidewalk right here. Bring some signs, bring a megaphone, bring some music, bring some food, bring water. It's still going to be kind of hot out there probably. We'll be out there showing our support for cannabis legalization and showing our disapproval for the Department of Child Safety. Till next time, check us out. This was the Safer Dave Show at SaferArizona.com, Arizona's cannabis legalization activist webcasting network.